I think like you bring up like an excellent point. It's like it's relationships, right? So whether it's relationship like with your tenants and residents, or like with your maintenance person, or even definitely your partners, right? So whether they're limited partners, whether they're general partners, like this entire space, not just real estate investing, but like private capital is all real estate like based, meaning or relationship based, meaning.
Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds, and I am excited to be here today. I am excited about my guest. I was talking to him a little bit backstage, and I just love everything that his company stands for. I love his alignment, his mentality. It aligns so much with my mentality. I love how he wants to talk to his community, the people who he walks with, who he's helping. And I love how he wants to educate them and make sure that they are in a good position to thrive. And so I am so excited to introduce you all to Mr. William Liu. Mr. William, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Whitney.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much for being here, man. And I kind of want to dive in. I would love for you to tell the people what your main focus is these days. If you can give us a little bit of an origin story, kind of how you
Sure.
got to where you are now. We love origin stories. And then tell them where you are in the world, man. People love to know where people are geographically, just if they like, hey, I can connect with this person, reach out to this person. And so, man, what you're doing, origin story, and where you are. Mr. William, you have the floor, sir.
Absolutely. So I have a little bit of a non-traditional background, but currently I'm the chief investment officer for Give Rise Capital. That's a real estate investing company that my wife and I founded a few years ago. Coincidentally, we started it when we had our first kid about 2 years ago as well. So she just turned 2. So that's usually how I know how long the company's been around.
Yeah.
But I started out as a marketer, and my marketing journey actually started out in the Army. So I tell people that I started out as a psychological operations specialist, served in the US Army from 2003 to 2007. And PsyOps, basically, if you look at the definition, it's basically the same thing as marketing, right? So you're trying to influence the actions and behaviors of other people. So that started off me on a marketing career path. Basically did that for about another 20 years. And then my last gig was as a chief marketing officer at an online higher education institution. So I think the real reason why I kind of transitioned was just I had a forced exit event around the time when my wife was pregnant with our first kid, around like 6 months pregnant, and really just kind of a gut punch, and was kind of dealing with a lot of I guess trauma, pain, just it also euphoria and joy, like with the birth of my first daughter. And I think it just ended up being that this was like green lights in terms of managing our real estate portfolio, starting to transition to multifamily rather than trying to go back to the W-2. Just kind of felt like a square peg going to a round hole. It just didn't really make sense for where I was in that season of life anymore. So
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Will, man. Thank you for walking us through how you got started to where you are now, what you're doing. Just listening to you talk, you said a chief investment officer at Get Rise Capital. Did I hear that right?
that's right.
Give
Yes.
Rise Capital, man. I love that. We probably gonna have to talk more about the name later because I love that name. But I love how you start out in the Army. You said PsyOps. Did I hear you? Did I hear that correct?
That's
PsyOps.
correct.
And then had your kids, had the little transition from, the W-2 to where you are now. You even mentioned the words trauma and pain. I mean, so these are, I mean, you told us a lot, and I thank you for the gift of your vulnerability. And so, William, I have a saying I say probably once every podcast is that destiny has no wasted moments.
Uh,
No matter what you go through in life, destiny has a way of building the person who we see in front of us now. And we borrow from different parts of our life, and it kind of makes the person that we see now.
uh,
And so I would love to know, William, through this journey, what has destiny, what has these moments taught you about yourself? Has it taught you discipline, resiliency? Has it taught you humility? Like, what has these moments, these transitions taught you about you, Will?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
I think like in this last transition, like I would equate it to a little bit like a midlife crisis. I think it started to kind of go from this mentality of I am taking care of my family because I have a job, and then that job then pays the bills. But it
Mm,
was kind of like an indirectly take care of my family. I think what I learned was that there was always an ego portion of it. Like now, what I do is like whether it's for my kids or whether it's for the family business, it is directly for my family, right? So
mm,
like one hand and the other hand, like they're both kind of connected. So
yeah.
I think a lot of it was revisiting like why I wanted to pursue things like the
Mm,
way I used to wanted to pursue it. And I think there was a component of wanting to feel good and just like wanting that ego stroke, like wanting to kind of climb the corporate ladder. And I think that season of life, it was painful because I refused to let go. And
mm,
I think it was like transitioning from one season to another season, just understanding that there's joys and pain in every season, and just be able to kind of embrace that. So really embracing my role as a father.
yeah.
And I think that's also kind of it's given me an opportunity to also explore my faith a little bit more, because like I tell people now it's like about how do you explain what God is? I'm like, God is a father. It's like, and I know that more now because of how I treat my children,
Mm,
and wanting to be able to be a good steward, to be a good, to have intentionality in terms of like how we create our life together. Because there's no promise for tomorrow, and trying to be the best husband and father I can be, and also uh also like being stewarding like our investor capital as well too, and being a good operator. Like those things are important, but it's not like the most important thing. Like my mother-in-law said something to me when I asked for my wife's hand in marriage. She said basically it's God, family, and then work, right? So, and
mm,
I think now I feel my priorities are a bit more aligned, and it's helped me to be a even more productive like real estate investor, to steward our investors capital. Like it's giving me more purpose. And I think that's kind of the season I'm kind of in life right now, is purpose and significance rather than just trying to chase things for my own ego. So
yeah. Man, I love so much of what you said, and it brings so many thoughts to mind. And I'm not going to try, of course, faith is big to you and I. I'm not going to try to make this a theological show. This is about real estate and business. But what you said, there's a scripture that says we make our plans, but the Lord determines the outcome. Right?
mm,
So we make our plans. we chugging along, thinking this is what we're going to do, and then sometimes the Lord comes and change the outcome of what we're doing. Right? And I love how you said, some of your outcomes have put you in a place of recognizing Him as a father, because one of my mentors told me, when you know who you are, you know what to do, right? When you
mm,
know who you are, you know what to do. So when I identify myself as a child of God, I identify that sometimes I make my plans, but He determines the outcome. When I understand that and that sets well with me and my soul, it can determine my next steps. It can make it
Yeah.
easier for me to be flexible and bend instead of being unflexible and break. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? This it
Yeah.
allows me to kind of bend and know that, okay, if I'm His son and He cares for me, then I got to believe that He's working this out for my good. And it allows me to be a little bit more flexible, learn a little bit more, create a little bit more skill set, let these hard things kind of sharpen me a little bit, strengthen me. And it makes me understand that, okay, the outcome probably and will be in my favor. I just got to figure out kind of, okay, what's the next step? What is it that you want me to do? And so I
Yeah.
love how you said, man, not hanging on too tight, learning when to let go allowed you to be able to be more malleable. So I love that, man. Yeah.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And I think real estate it's not the easiest thing to do. There's a lot of hard components of this. Like I think like on a daily basis we're dealing with tenant issues, or maybe there's like an eviction thing, or maybe there's like a water line that kind of breaks, or I have to buy more refrigerators and more washers and dryers for whatever reason, right? So and we have a variety of multifamily properties now in Dallas. So we have a 76 unit Class C in Irving, and then we have 82 unit in Richardson. And so, but that's one's a Class A. So a little bit different like vintages within there, different sets of problems, different sets of demographics. Like when the current administration started implementing a lot of their ICE policies and immigration policies, like that really had a huge impact on our Latino demographic in one of our properties. So
Good.
you're still kind of seeing the spillover of it, and then you kind of add in all the things that have kind of been happening in Dallas, Sun Belt area.
So, yeah.
Basically with the oversupply, it's created a little bit, kind of difficulty, but I think that's part of it. Like you just kind of there's going to be some difficult moments. It's just more matter of like how do you kind of deal with it, having that right mentality that just focus on this and focus on what you can control. There are things that we can't control, and then just trying to put yourself in a good position where you're at least not making things worse. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love, man, and I love how you talked about, just real things that's going on in the community, right? Real things that's going on that's affecting business. And so I want to talk about Give Rise Capital.
mm,
Two-part question. One, I would love for you to tell me more about the name. Like, where does the
yeah.
idea of the name come from? And then also, like, what is the next goal? What are you looking to solve or scale next?
Yeah, so give rise. I'll give credit to my wife on this one. This is definitely her idea. Like I always tell people, like I'm more back of house and she's more front of house, right? So
Yeah.
definitely more personable, more extroverted for sure. But I think the idea behind Give Rise is that like it's like a tide lifts all boats kind of thing, and especially with serving our more of our community, more Asian American. That's kind of what we see. So right now, like I'm even kind of helping a subset of our community with capital raising because I kind of like I equate marketing, capital raising, like very similar principles and fundamentals within there because there was a gap.
Yeah.
My wife's kind of serving more on like she has a podcast called the Sarah Ladies Podcast. It stands for Subtle Asian Real Estate Ladies, because she sees like a gap in terms of her gender in terms of the real estate investing kind of like space, right? Just
Yeah.
and especially from an Asian American lens, like just not necessarily having as much of a presence as maybe other demographics.
Yeah.
So wanting to kind of empower women to be able to pursue this.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love how you talked about your demographic, your wife's demographic, and how your wife are empowering women, right? Because before you and I got on, I mentioned the word community.
Right.
And I believe all of us should be inspiring to create community. And community is common unity. People who
Mm.
are of common unity doing things together, right? And your body your physical body has different parts. We have ears, nose, mouth, hands, all these different parts, right? Each part is important. And we can't say one is more important than the other because we need it all, right? And so that's how it is like within this space. There's a big body, within real estate, but there are different parts, different
Yeah.
communities. You have wholesale, you have investors. Some may think, but no one is more important than the other. It's all a community, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes like all the hands got to get together to communicate with each other, and all the ears got to get together to communicate with each other. But it still serves the bigger purpose of us, U.S. citizens, our community, family, people. Like we
Yeah.
all serve a same kind of focus, but it's important to cultivate your community at the same
Right.
time.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
It's important for the hands to have support of the other hands because hands know what hands go through. Feet people know what feet people go through, and sometimes feet people don't understand the hand people, but it don't mean one is better than the other. It just mean you're with your community and you're still serving a bigger overall purpose.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
My wife often I have this debate around. It's like, well, the right hand can't be the left hand, the left hand can't be the right foot. It's like everyone has their different roles and functions and different personalities and their strengths and weaknesses. So I think we're each given like certain gifts, right? So I think it's like important to kind of use those gifts not just for yourselves or for your family, but also for your community. And I think that's the same thing we're trying to teach to our children. I definitely learned when having children that it takes a village. And so like I'm not the person that enjoys asking people for help, but when you have to because you are running on 2 hours of sleep,
Yeah,
then you lean into like your tribe, your village, like the people around you to be able to help you because it's just or else it's just very difficult to live life together
yeah.
or live life like in a way where it's more isolated. So
Yeah, absolutely. And some people that listen, they may be like, "What in the world this got to do with real estate?" I mean, if you're paying attention, it has a lot to do because even in the world of real estate, right? If you are purchasing a house, you still got to rely on plumbers. You still had to rely
sure.
on inspectors, HVAC people, like even the agriculture people, landscape people. Like again, this is showing the community aspect.
Sure.
Nobody's in this thing by themselves, and I think
Correct.
what we're trying to show is the mindset of a community-based, you know, ecosystem. Like even when you're
Yep.
in real estate, you're doing partnerships, and
Correct.
sometimes owners, operators they are in their own way. Sometimes they are their biggest bottleneck because
Uh-huh.
they're trying to do something that they need to maybe pay somebody to do or bring somebody else in to do. And so I'm just saying, like, I just
Yeah.
want people to have the mindset to know you're never in this by yourself. And if we're all living in the same USA, and we all, have families and communities, that yes, we are trying to take care of our family, but also we're trying to create a healthy space where every family can thrive. And I know some
Right.
people don't think about it like that, but honestly, that's a good way to think about it because we're kind of all in this together, And so,
Yeah.
yeah, please, yes, sir.
I think like you bring up like an excellent point. It's like it's relationships, right? So whether it's relationship like with your tenants and residents, or like with your maintenance person, or even definitely your partners, right? So whether they're limited partners, whether they're general partners, like this entire space not just real estate investing, but like private capital is all real estate like based, meaning or relationship based, meaning that it's if you don't have access to someone that has access to that person that has a deal, then you won't be able to get that deal, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's unless like maybe you go to like a large institutional fund like a BlackRock, but then is that some like that's just going to be some person like pushing papers in the background that doesn't really like care about you, and if you have
Mm.
questions, like who are you going to ask the questions to, right? So
Yeah.
when my investors like reach out to me, like I always try to make a rule that I get back to them, text, email, whatever it is, in a few hours, as long as I'm capable of being able to do it. So
Yeah.
if I'm in the middle of like Costa Rica somewhere, then maybe not. I'll get back to them when I get landside. But that's but it is a relationship game, right? So and I think that's what we've started to kind of realize and start to put more effort into like brokers, lenders, more like in the Dallas metro area, since that's where most of our properties are. I think we have two. We're going to pursue another one this year, another acquisition, and continue to kind of scale our portfolio. So
I love it, man. I love everything that you're doing. I love your outlook. Is there anything, a topic that I have not brought up that you would like to bring up? Or is there any other word of motivation, inspiration, education that you would like to leave? I just kind of want to just open the
yeah,
flow up to maybe
sure.
anything that's on your heart or your mind that you feel like listeners could benefit from.
Yeah, I think, I mentioned earlier, it's like I have a more of a non-traditional kind of corporate background. And so I think that part of it even goes into life. I think how we're trying to raise our family. Like we're blessed with our own money too. So a lot of what we're doing right now is managing our own wealth. And so right now we're pursuing more actively on the multifamily space, but we also have skin in the game, right? So like I raise private capital from investors, but I also have my own money or my own family's money like in these deals too. So I also have an incentive for it to, to do well, right? So, but we've also been reallocating it from our single family properties to our multifamily properties, but we're also kind of looking through other asset classes, right? So maybe within real estate, outside of real estate. So looking at cover call ETFs, like debt funds, like things that can help us with, better yields, like maybe looking at it from an income versus growth aspect, since a lot of our stuff's in growth. But also since we don't have a W-2, we need to, pay the bills and, make sure there's, pay the baby formula and everything else, keep the lights on, as I say.
Yeah.
Um, but also like looking through how do we kind of raise that next generation too with our kids,
Mm.
right? So like I think we want to make sure that we raise uh good stewards of money. I think money is like a tool, like it could be good for good or for not so good. And so like we do have provisions in our trust where like if our kids like do certain things, and then they won't be able to get access to that. But it's our intent to be
Yeah.
present with them, to model what we believe in, what our values are to them, so that hopefully they can have that safety net. Because I think with where their generation is kind of going with AI, with just overall like traditional K-12 education, higher education, like I have no idea whether they'll be able to get jobs or not. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so my intent is hopefully like we can continue to scale the business, have something that they can kind of be an apprentice and intern and learn from a mom and dad, and also be able to know how to be able to use spreadsheets and have financial literacy, like be able to understand like how do I do asset allocation, diversification within there, how do I model this through for the next few years. Like I want them to learn those types of like skill sets, as well as like negotiations, like kind of public speaking, like the things that more of the soft skills, right? So like, and then we can teach them history and stuff like that by maybe visiting museums around the world, right? So I
Yeah.
think there's a way to just be able to lean a little bit more on what we feel makes sense for our family, rather than just kind of like here's the standard curriculum, and then you have to
Uh-huh.
be there at like 7:30 a.m. For class, and then you have to like wait in a giant line to pick up the kids. So it doesn't have that flexibility that my wife and I really enjoy right now that we have in our lives. So.
William, I love it, man. We as human beings, we are given powerful tools every day. The internet is a tool. Education is a tool. The cars we drive is a tool. Money is a tool. And I love how you want to teach your kids how to use and will their tools, their powerful tools in a healthy way. Because they're gonna have tools that they can use, the money, education, but you're teaching them that these are tools and how to yield these tools in a powerful way. So I love what you're doing with your family. I love that's been your through line, talking about your family, wanting to raise your kids right. And so I applaud you, man. You're doing a phenomenal job, and I appreciate you being here. If someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, collaborate with you,
Mhm.
learn more about what you're doing, how can they get in contact with you, William?
You can I'll provide the link to Quentin for my LinkedIn, but you can also just email me at william@giverisecapital.com. So pretty easy, william@giverisecapital.com.
Love it. Love it. So, William, let me say three things to you sincerely. One, thank you for your time. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. So I thank you for your time. Time is our most precious commodity. So thank you
Mhm.
for your time. Secondly, thank you for your story. Thank you for the gift, what I call the gift of your transparency, the gift of your vulnerability. You shared things with us today that you did not have to share, but you chose to. And I believe that those stories have a way of planting seeds in people. We may never see the growth, but it plants a seed, and later on, somebody may can come and water that seed. And then all of a sudden, they got this harvest that's springing forward,
Mhm.
all because of the seeds that our stories planted. So thank you. Lastly, thank you for your mindset. Thank you for the way you think. Thank you for your years of experience thinking the way you think when it comes to marketing and investment and different things. Thank you for bringing that mindset to this platform. I greatly appreciate you, William.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Hugh.
Absolutely. Well, listen, y'all heard Mr. William. Check the show notes. Please get in contact with him because he's going to help you out. So definitely check him out, but definitely make sure you are subscribed here because I promise you, we're going to continue to bring up amazing people just like Mr. William. So, sir, thank you again. And everyone else, y'all have a fantastic day.